Hi, today we're going to be looking at our James Rizzi buildings. You're going to want to have something to outline your building with and something to color your building with today. So make sure you have those tools around. You can start with a regular piece of paper or any other drawing surface. Kind of want it to go from the tip of your finger down towards your elbow. You want it to be a nice size sheet. 8.5 and 11 is what I have here. So I'm going to start with, like my building description says, an outline for my building first. So I like my building to take up a lot of space on this paper. I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up towards the top of the paper. I'm not using a ruler, so it's okay if my building's not perfectly straight. Maybe I want it to be a little bit more fun and have like a little rooftop chimney up here that I'm going to add in for my outlines. Then the next thing I want to pick is my facial expression for my building. You can kind of look in the mirror and come up with your own ideas, or you can look at our sheets that have some ideas on there that you might want to use for your building. You can use windows, of course, for your eyes on your building. So I'm going to do some windows that are the same on here. And then it can kind of look like the curtains are hanging down a little bit, but really what we're going to turn them into are some eyes that are on there. And then if I want to do a nose, I might think of maybe some bricks that are on the building together that could look a little bit like a nose, sort of a different way of doing things. And then of course I can have a mouth, which on here you could just do a straight mouth, kind of like that. It doesn't have to look like something else. Then you're going to want to pick some doors and other windows to put on there. Remember, I already have a couple of windows in my eyes, so you can either look at your sheet or look around the house or building that you're in and decide what other kinds of windows you might want to see on there. I'm going to add in some tall, skinny windows, since that's what I have room for on here on my building. And then I'm going to do a door over here, but first, I'm going to do some steps that lead up to my door. And then my door might have a little window above it to let in some sunlight in the hallway into this building. And maybe my door even has some windows in it. A little doorknob, put a little doorbell, and then maybe there are some basement windows down here near the street level that I want to add in. And I could do a few more bricks to give it a building-like feel. And if I wanted to, I could draw window boxes under things to put plants in, because people like to have plants even if they're in the city. And then my next step for my building is coloring it. I have to pick either warm colors, cool colors, or complementary colors for my building. So I think I'm going to do some complementary colors in my favorite Vikings colors, purple and gold. Remember, if you want your bushes to look more realistic, you could start with a dark green on the bottom part where the shadows would be, and then you can go through and you can do a light green on the top part where the reflections of the sunlight would be. And that kind of makes your bushes look a little bit more realistic and in depth. I also did the yellow in the backgrounds of my windows because it's lit up inside by the lights, which means a silhouette of whatever this box is in the window can then be colored in a black color, like a shadow, because we wouldn't be able to quite make out what it is. Maybe somebody's put their bookshelves there, or they have a little radio in the window. It's hard to say. And I'm going to switch out the different shades and tints that I can use of purple and yellow throughout my building and add in just a few other accent colors, because I want the primary colors of this to be complementary colors, that purple and yellow. Remember, when you're coloring, you want your coloring strokes to go the same direction. If your hand gets tired of coloring in one direction, you can turn your paper and keep coloring what feels like a different direction, but it's really keeping up with the same lines. This keeps it nice and smooth while you're coloring. If I want to make my windows look like they're glowing from inside, I can do yellow on one side, and then I can come down and I can add a little bit of orange from the other side too, to make it look like it's nice and warm inside that building. Almost like there's people inside, so there's a little bit of shadow on each one, just to give it that glowing effect of the lights being on, and not just a flat yellow. Now that I have this done, I can take a photo of it because it's already on a white background to submit it to my portfolio. And then I can cut it out to make it part of our larger mural. Remember when we're cutting with scissors that we always want to be in the deeper part of our scissors while cutting, and we don't want to use the tips until the end. And our scissors just open and close, but we turn our paper to make it do all the work. Our scissors just need to focus on opening and closing. Our other hand that's holding the paper does all the work. And remember, it's easier to snip off that extra sometimes so it's not in our way. And if we come to a corner like this, it's okay to completely turn your paper and cut into here so that you can just take off the little bit instead of trying to keep twisting a sharp turn. And I open it back up and I turn it and then I come back down. I'm trying to keep that outline edge that I have on here because that's part of the fun effect of those buildings. Throw my scraps away, and then if you need to put this on a white background to take your photo, you would do that at this point in time. Otherwise, it's ready to turn in and put together with all the other buildings to make a city. Great job.